Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chelsea. If you're new, if you're not new, hello. Nice to see ya, hear ya, be with ya. I don't know. Follow me across all social media. I am CCsuarez across all social media. We just hit 24,000 on Instagram and 24,000 on TikTok, which is really weird, but I love it. And hopefully we will hit 54,000 by the end of this month on YouTube. That would be great. Be a part of that. Subscribe. Thanks. Today we have a very, very cringy interview that for some reason Jessie Lee Ward recorded and put on her all over as she does. Let me guess, this is probably a podcast episode too. Also, I have some very exposing, very telling, fascinating information to share with you as well. Or that rather I'm just going to hint at. There was some public information that was given to me. And it's that Jessie Lee Ward was evicted out of her house last year because she didn't pay her rent. So sounds like she's doing great. If you want to learn more about that, I will be going over that in a video with, I believe on my channel, with Aaron Bies and Julie Joe. So their channels are linked down below. Subscribe to them and let's just get into it, shall we? So great. I can't wait to debunk everything. Once again, her extensions are about a foot longer. Not a foot longer. It's like 3 inches longer than her normal hair. It's uncomfortable. I don't like it. Anyways, let's get into it. You
here on the podcast today. It's funny, you are known as the #1 network marketer in the entire world. And that's quite the label. I mean, I don't even know how many it's crazy how big the industry is, by the way. I was in it for a little while. I worked with Zango and a couple other.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And I actually had such a great experience with it. So I've always been very pro MLM. I'm very pro taking control of your own life, building your own destiny, all those kinds of things. And so MLM kind of.
I already hate this. So the first thing he says is, you are known as the #1 network marketer in the world. By who? You can't just claim these things and have them be true. Like who named you this? Was it like Forbes magazine? Then okay. Was it Vogue? Was it Business Insider? Was it, I don't know, fucking Fox News or something? I mean, shit, I guess we can. I am the #1 female commentary YouTuber. That's it. I'm #1. It's going in my Instagram bio right now. And then allegedly, if you just do that, it's true. That's some next level manifestation. I've had 1 sip of wine. Okay, let's keep going.
So I don't know how many network marketers are in the world number-wise, but I do know that it is a $300 billion a year profession. So that's bigger than all major league sports put together. So you put together basketball, football, Major League Baseball, hockey, all of them, and network marketing is still bigger. So I think it's an incredible profession to let people. I love that you kind of cut your entrepreneurial teeth in it too. But it's such an awesome opportunity for an average person to cut their teeth, figure out like, oh, do I have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and then actually spread their wings and really fly. So I
like the way that you said that, because to me that's what it is. It's because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. They say that, but a lot of people shouldn't be. In fact, we did a little thing last night, like this mastermind, and that was one of the points that one of the guys made. He's like, look, there's nothing wrong with taking a really good job that pays you really well. A lot of you are not made out to be entrepreneurs, to own your own business. And frankly, most of you will probably make more money if you just go take a job. It's this myth that like everyone needs to be an entrepreneur, but for $500 or so, more or less, usually, right, you can join an MLM and you really do get an idea if you're made for that kind of a career. Because
no. Who is this person? Jimmy Rex? Stop it. You're not. No. Saying that network marketing is a whatever billion-dollar industry. Just so misleading. Because it's not the reps making that money. It's the CEOs and the owners of these companies. How are they making that money? From the reps. From their distributors. That's where they're getting their money. That's how that works. And how, oh my God, how they make this much money? Because it's a goddamn cult. That's how. So dumb. And it's just so funny. The more and more and more I look into this girl, the more I'm embarrassed for her, that she acts like, oh my God, I did this and I did that and I'm the top whatever. Allegedly, so someone told me one day that their husband or their dad or some male in their life saw her at like a nail salon or something like that. And the person asked, what do you do? And she said, I'm an influencer. Baby, no, you're not. You're a scam artist. Gone from company to company to company. You've bought a good amount of your followers. Maybe you don't consider it buying your followers, but when you pay to be involved or included in a loop giveaway, which yes, the video on loop giveaways is coming soon. It's going to be a minute. It's going to be a lot. Because she acts like she is, and this is going to sound mean, but just hear me out. She acts like she's someone. She acts like she's a celebrity. Jessie Lee Ward or Jessie Lee Sullivan. Imbosslee. No one fucking cares who you are. Just like no one fucking cares who I am. Or half of these influencers out here, or these content creators. No one cares. You act like, oh my God, I have so many cars. I don't know where I parked my Ferrari. Is that supposed to be a flex? I'm worried for your mental state if you don't know where you put your Ferrari. And also, that's not an asset, baby. That's a liability. Clearly don't know the difference. I just cannot stand that she tried to come for me, tried to threaten me with legal action, and then tried to say, like, you don't even own your house, you rent it. Bitch, you just got evicted from your house for not paying your rent and then also for causing a leak because you left a faucet on, you ignorant, irresponsible bartender from Shrek. I can't. Sorry, guys. I know I go really hard for her, but it's because all of the lives that she has just ruined. Absolutely ruined. It's so sad. And just like the active threats she makes on me, she's like, for someone who has so many skeletons in her closet, she better be careful who she comes after. Bitch, what skeletons? My skeletons are up on my fucking lawn for people to see. Fucking marquee outside my house being like, this bitch went to rehab, that was in an abusive relationship, like very public about all my shit. Most of it. Because I don't want to put my family on blast because they're not public figures like I am. But still, this girl's fucking crazy.
Get an idea if you're made for that kind of a career, because you recruit, you have to, build systems, you have to market, you have to do all those things that you do in a business. You really get to cut your teeth in MLM.
You got me laughing over here because entrepreneurship is like the sexy thing of ever since probably 2018, right? Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, Like, I mean, love him or hate him, Gary Vee makes me laugh because he's like, if you're not a successful entrepreneur in this day and age, like I would never say this to people because I'm a big bleeding heart. I just cry too much. But he's like, you suck. Like, you literally suck if you can't make money as an entrepreneur in this global environment. So stop and get a job. And I love that you said that in your own little roundabout Jimmy Rex way. Because it's true. Like, we do need good employees. As a matter of fact, like, I don't know if we're going to go down this rabbit hole during this interview, but like, sure, it is so hard to hire people these days. And I think part of it is everybody thinks they need to be an entrepreneur. I'm like, oh my God, like I own a lot of traditional businesses also. And it is driving me crazy. I'm like, where are the hairdressers, man? Like, what?
It's the same problem we're all having right now, right? Like, I'm building 5 different investment properties right now as Airbnbs, and these builders can't get anybody to work on them. I mean, there's nobody wants to. I flip homes, and the biggest problem we have right now, it's not even finding good deals, it's finding workers to go. And I guess it turns out when you flood the economy with money and tell people they're going to be rewarded for not working, people choose not to work a lot. And somebody like you or I, like, we just think, duh, people are just motivated to be their best selves. But the reality is a lot of people aren't. They just are trying to get enough to get by. And it is really frustrating because, like, where does this thing end? At what point do people start going back to work? It's one thing and the next and the next. And it sounds good on paper to give people a bunch of free shit. But then you got a bunch of people that aren't willing to go work for anything. And what it does, the sad part of it to me, and you can appreciate this being an MLM, you know the rewards of hard work. You know what it feels like to build something. You watch, it's an industry, especially I'm sure the companies you've been a part of, I know, are more women-centric.
No, they are not, Jimmy. Only one of them was women-centric.
Sex toys?
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. That was my first. Okay. It was a Google search. Yes, that is true. Oh my God. It's true. But that was the first. That was the only sex toy company I was part of. I was #1 in the world at that too, though. So,
By the way, please, let's just go right there.
Let's go.
Take this conversation. Describe how you got into it. How did you come across? Did you go to a sex party and you're like, well, I could do this. I can use those better than they are, or whatever. I mean, how did that get going?
Oh God. Okay, this is gonna be the greatest interview of all time. So, It's funny because I always talk about if you are an entrepreneur, the word no just really shouldn't offend you. And so nobody actually recruited me, which is odd, right? Because the idea that everybody's constantly accosted by these network marketers who are just harassing them and cold messaging them, that's not true, right? Most people are way too scared to send out any kind of cold message or even lukewarm message, if we're being totally honest. So nobody recruited me. I think I looked like I had my life together. I put that in quotations because, and it's a podcast, I'm letting everybody know, like, it has to go in quotations because people thought I was doing very well because I had the good job, again, quotations, in the pathology lab. I had a car. Granted, it broke down all the time. Nobody really knew that. You know, you see people with their benefits and their 401k, and you're like, oh my God, she has her life together. Well, meanwhile, my life was not together. So I Google searched at-home businesses that make the most money, and I don't know if that was like because of my Google searches in the past. I'm just kidding. But that popped up, and so nobody
recommends.
Yeah, recommended for Jessie Lee. And so anyway, long story short, that popped up, and like I immediately applied for a credit card, and got approved for a $500 limit. And I was like, no, I can't even get the big kit, right? But it was my first credit card. I was 22 years old and like freshly 22. I just turned 22. And yeah, that's how it all started. I bought a kit on January 7th, 2011. And I figured, you know what? I'm not getting evicted from this basement I'm living in. I'm gonna figure out how to make this $310 back to pay back.
If I hear about this basement one more fucking time, and if she doesn't say that it was her mother, she lived in her mother's basement, I swear, half-truths and lying by omission. The queen of quarter truths and lying by omission is this woman. And stop saying that you were #1 in the world at selling sex toys. I'm pretty sure Hitachi is the #1 at selling sex toys because that's the fucking magic wand. Like, I was about to say the magic eraser, huh? Like, stop. Ugh, who wants to buy a butt plug from this woman? Not me. Disgusting. I hate it so much.
This credit card, and then I need another $300 to pay the rent. So I got to make $610 my first month. And that was my big crazy goal. And then, yeah, I mean, a decade later.
Well, it seems like that would be something that is very well needed. Like, I've heard that there are a riot to go to, talking to other women. Like, they're super fun parties. And
well, like, we've met, Jimmy. Like, I'm freaking funny, okay? Like, I'm a little spitfire. I am, like, I got a mouth on me when I want to have a mouth on me. Like, I will crack jokes at you all day. And so, yeah, like, I was in these people's houses, and it was a comedy hour. 45 minutes of, like, pee your pants laughing, basically. And then I would do private consultations in a side room, and I'd upsell, cross-sell, whatever. I would leave the party, and I'd read sales books when I got home. I'm like, I gotta learn how to sell more, because I didn't know how to sell.
I need to know what happens in a this video is going to get demonetized. It's going to. It's fine. What happens in a private sex toy consultation with this woman? Absolutely not. No, ma'am. No. That's atrocious. It also, I was thinking about this on my way to get my nails done today. How strange it is that she actively says this isn't the real her. That Imbosslee, whatever you want to call her, hashtag, isn't her. And that it's not the real her. And that this is just a character she plays. Like, so everything's fake. Everything's built on a lie. Like, you're not an actor. You're selling something. People are buying in because they want to be close to you. People are following you. And yet you're raw, you're real. No. This is all fake. This isn't you. Like, and I don't want to bring it back to me again, but for instance, I've had so many of people who I, not friends, but acquaintances who do know me in real life and who even say like, oh my God, I watched your YouTube channel the other day and it was so funny. It was so engaging. Like, I watched like 4 videos back to back because it's like you're in the room with me talking to me. And I'm like, yeah, that would be exhausting to put on a character. Who the fuck? No. Listen, I got my Bethany character with my blonde wig, which now I ruined that blonde wig because I dyed it to look like Harley Quinn. But it's just so weird and strange. And it must be very mentally taxing for her.
So are you, in that scenario, are you trying to more recruit them to also sell underneath you, or are you trying to sell product?
It's a mix of both, and it's always been a mix of both for me. And I think that's actually how I became #1 in this entire profession now, is because I started in direct sales. So it was much more belly to belly in people's homes. You're retailing product, wholesale, this whole direct selling concept. And so that was where my comfort zone was. I was more comfortable at retailing at a high level than I was recruiting.
Did she just use the term belly to belly when talking about selling sex toys? We were just, rubbing up against each other, playing tummy sticks, playing hide the pickle. No, girl. Like the fact that she doesn't know that direct sales is the umbrella. And then there's single level marketing, which truly is, direct sales, which is you're just getting paid for the product, for selling the product. And then multi-level marketing is you're getting paid to sell the product and paid for recruiting people and their sales under them and their performance, basically. She, to this day, says that network marketing or multi-level marketing and direct sales are different. And it's like, bitch, fucking Google it. Like, it's not different. It's so,
and that's more so like I had imposter syndrome around leadership. And I also viewed recruiting like, oh my God, that's a whole other job. Like now I'm going to have a sales team of people. Like, I don't know, like this is just supposed to be something to kind of make me some extra money in between. And then I became the best recruiter in the world. So that's like a whole separate.
Says who? Well, then I just became the best in the galaxy. That's it. Ethan, put it up again and change it to I am the best YouTuber in the galaxy. And that means it's true. If I say it, it's true. Don't look it up. Don't use common sense. I'm saying it. It's true.
What made you so great at recruiting? What kind of things did you naturally have? What kind of, what did you do differently that made you so successful? Because I mean, having done that industry, I know how difficult it is to recruit. I mean, you're trying to call the most successful people, ultimately you want people that, you think are going to succeed, and you're trying to get them to sit down with you for an hour and talk about, whether it's sex toys or shampoo or $40 bottle of juice, like you're trying to get them to do something to buy a new product that they probably never would buy otherwise. And so it's kind of an interesting sell.
I'll make this for all business people, not just MLM people, and it'll help everyone, I think. And that is that my approach has always been drastically different, I think, than everybody in my profession. And everything I do it differently. So whether it's the selling of the cars, like I sell supercars, I think you know that, whether it's like the restaurant stuff, whether it's the hair salons, whether it's the med spa, any of this stuff, I like to look at it like, how can I stand out? How can I do things differently? And so I never was the person who would go after the super powerful people. And I think, again, that little bit of growing up poor, imposter syndrome, whatever, was definitely in there. So I was like, oh, why would they want to talk to me? Like Jimmy Rex would never pick up my phone call. So I would not talk to you. I would talk to all your people.
If she owns truly, and I know she has the franchise for the hair salon, but if she does sell supercars, why'd you phrase it like that, first of all? But I've heard her say before that she owns a car dealership. If you truly do, why not talk about it? Why not show it? Like, that's cool as shit. That you actually own 3 businesses. Why not show that? More people would follow you. More people would want to see that side. Fuck, I would want to see that side, right? Seeing that side of and behind the scenes shit is cool. Jaclyn Hill showing lifestyle stuff and showing stuff on the back end of her warehouses and her fulfillment center and all that. That's cool as shit. I love that. Or any YouTuber doing that. Or talking about brand deals and, certain things they're getting invested in. That's cool. But this is why she's not intelligent, is because she's only trying to attract people. But this is where she isn't the smartest, is because she's only trying to attract people who really she can recruit into this. Because think about it, if you're actually interested in the back end of business and being a content creator, really anything like that, you're not going to typically be interested in sitting on Zoom calls for hours a week and these cheesy ass captions or following her around and getting colored extensions in your hair that are 17 feet longer than your actual hair.
Maybe it's humility too, in the sense of I was so discounted from day one. Nobody tried to recruit me, that I was like, oh my God, I had the hunger. So when I'm recruiting, I'm looking for hungry people. I'm not necessarily looking for people with the gigantic Rolodex or people with, a bunch of money or people who already have the lifestyle. I want the people who are like, all right, you're the little guy. I'm gonna make you not so much the little guy anymore. We're gonna blow this thing up. And so then my entire process has been find normal people who are coachable, leadable, teachable. This is really in anything I do, by the way. Who's actually gonna do the work. So I've never been the hand holder.
People who are desperate. That's what she's looking for. Who will do anything, who will follow your every single word and syllable and just hang on a thread for you. That's not even a correct figure of speech, but I just made it one. Because I am what? The top female in the galaxy. You heard it here first.
I've never been the hand holder, so the whole hour-long meetings, the hour-long Zooms, the hour-long calls, I've never done them. And I never did them because I'm like, if I just sit on a Zoom with you, Jimmy, and be like, all right, man, tell me about your goals, man. Tell me about your dreams. Like, what do you want? Like, all this stupid spammy stuff that everybody in network marketing hates. Like, all the haters hate it because they're like, they're manipulators or whatever. I'm like, well, you've clearly never, you've never been prospected by me. We've never had a conversation, or you would literally never say that about how I approach business.
Did she just have the audacity to say that she doesn't sit on hour-long Zoom calls? Girl, you're doing like 3 of them a week. And by a week, I mean a day. Like, what are you talking about? You don't... What? That's why the haters hate it. My brain is broken right now. This makes no sense.
But yeah, like I could get on a phone and manipulate anybody into joining, sure. But I've never done it. Mine's more so like get them in by them showing that they're hungry, you know, say, hey, like a link's in the bio. You're going to join or you're not. It's okay. There's literally tens of thousands of people who will join either way. So if it's for you, great. I've got a system for you. If it's not for you, great. Then whatever, be a customer. That's cool. And then my onboarding is really aggressive. And that's, again, in all my businesses. My standards and procedures are just very, very not MLM. They're very like...
Back to the systems. The systems are Zoom calls and watching her YouTube channel. That's all it is, folks.
He's a billionaire. He's a multi-billionaire here in the state of Utah. His company's about to go public for $6 billion.
Hell yeah.
And we were all hanging out down in Lake Powell, and he was a single guy at the time. He's married now. This is a few years ago. But there was this young girl.
I was going to say, hook me up, Jimmy. This is sounding good.
There's this girl, probably 22, 23, just kind of getting her teeth wet with kind of business stuff. And she pitched me and him to join like some random MLM company. And she had no idea how much money he was worth. She had no idea what I did. It was so cute and like so adorable. But she was like she's like, you guys can literally make thousands of dollars a month. This guy's worth over $1 billion. I'm just laughing my ass off. But it was cool. And it was like, even for her, like, you know, to start putting herself out there. Where else would if she brought up a business conversation with a guy like that? I will say this though, so I just watched the Lula Rich documentary. I'm sure you've watched it on Amazon. No. You have not watched it yet?
I will not watch it.
It's fascinating and entertaining. I'll say that. But it's crazy because like I'm in Utah, right? This is the capital where a lot of these things happen. And that couple happened to be in California, but they have all their Utah ties with the LDS church and stuff like that. And it kind of plays into the documentary. But they just look like such quacks, I guess, for a lack of a better word. So how do you stamp that out in your industry? Like one of the things that I like about you, as soon as I met you, and just, you don't know this yet, but I was like, we were in a room together, we're about 50 of us. And like the way people were talking about you was with so much respect. And they were like, dude, she is the boss. Like, this is what she does. Like, she is awesome. You got to go meet her. And I was like, wow, I need to get to know this woman. And so the way they talk about you versus like you watch that documentary, and you see how most people view MLM marketing or companies. I guess like the question is how difficult is that to overcome? And what do you do to kind of break that stigma? Because I mean, they looked crazy in that. You got to go watch the documentary.
So that made me so emotional. It made me tear up. I love it. Thank you.
Why did that make you tear up? It also didn't make you tear up. You're bullshitting. I can't stand this. It's really funny how she even said, no, I won't watch it because she's in an echo chamber. You know, what's great is there's another documentary coming out, Discovery Plus, I think it is. It's the rise and fall of LuLaRoe. Yeah. And then there is one coming out, or in the works rather, about Monate. And then there is one also in the beginning stages about the multi-level marketing industry in general being a cult and being, you know, commercial cults. So it's I think it's important for more of them to come out about not only other MLMs but the industry in general, because it's going to continue to show whatever, basically debunk whatever she's about to say. Like, oh no, we don't have inventory, we don't do this, we don't do that. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. You're recruiting. It's still fucking Ponzi-nomics, baby girl.
First of all, I don't watch it because I I know what they're going to say. You know, like, at least I have an idea of what they're going to say, in the sense of, I know it was $5,000 to join that company, and they were selling leggings that literally they'd have, like, Leaning Tower of Pisas, like, basically making people look like they have penises, you know? Like, I mean, like, it was, like, the most hideous... Like, I know, you know, like, it just wasn't a well-run company. As I was watching it,
I'm like, where were all these women wearing these pants? Because they are awful. I'm like,
oh,
I
terrible.
don't remember seeing them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And the company's still around, you know. I don't really know. I don't follow the company or anything like that, but they had a huge surge, right, actually, when I was making the transition into network marketing, actually. So when I was going from the direct sales into the network marketing space in, like, 2015.
It's the same thing. You used plunger. It's the same thing. This would literally be like if I was to say, this is when I was making my transition from influencer marketing to affiliate marketing. That's the same fucking thing. So when I was making my transition to, you know, from multi-level marketing to network marketing, it's the same fucking thing, okay? They're synonyms, baby girl. They are synonyms. They're cinnamon buns.
And there were a lot of things about that. I'm like, you have to buy how much inventory? Like, my problem with documentaries like that and people who try to expose the network marketing profession is I'm like, nobody took your social security number. Nobody took your credit card and was like, Jimmy, you have to do this or you're gonna die, right? Like, we're gonna shove you out of the world, you know? Like, nobody forces people to do any of these things.
You have to do this or you're gonna die. We're gonna shove you out of the world. What does that even mean? As the great Dr. Stephen Hassan, no one joins a cult. No one knowingly joins a scam. No one knowingly falls for a scam. And sure, you can say all day long, oh, no one forced you. No one forced you to do this.
Oh, well, it's like a cult and then you get manipulated. What? Like, what? Like, and I'll watch it now just so I can see what they say. But like I said, I have a feeling I know exactly the kinds of things they say because these people that hate on you, their narrative is literally identical. You know, it says blame, shame, justify. And I think that's actually the problem with the world right now is everybody blames everybody for everything. Nobody wants to take responsibility for the fact that they're broke or they're unhappy or their money situation's terrible or their whatever. Everything is somebody else's fault. Everything.
The way that I always say it is you either have to, you know, take inventory of yourself and change things about yourself, or you try to make everybody else wrong. And so for most people, it's just easier to blame the company or blame the industry or blame the person that recruited you or whatever.
Yeah, and these people are not successful. Like, some of these people might have been making like $3,000-$4,000 a month at most. And they are such significance-driven people that their ability to get more, their only way to get significance is to hate people who actually have significance. So, like, if I'm like, Jimmy Rex, and you're way up here and I'm way down here, a little peon, little ant on the bottom of your shoe, like, of course I'm going to attach myself to your name, like, tag you in a YouTube video so I can try to get some views so I can pay for my pasta or whatever the hell these people are eating for dinner. I don't know. But anyway.
Your girl is talking about me. That's fine. Are you a goddamn clown and very entertaining to roast? Absolutely. She really is one of the most self-important people I have ever encountered. Not in person, obviously, because she would fucking run and hide if she saw me in person. Because this is what you get. This is it right here. These tendrils, these buns, this Rugrat shirt. This is me. I am obnoxious. I am not for everyone. I get very, very protective. I'm loyal to a fault. And I am an intelligent, confident, beautiful, emotional woman. And lazy sometimes, but we don't need to tell her that. And that's real life. She's not like that. She's very introverted, apparently. She hides, she's very, timid, which is so weird. I just can't imagine, how exhausting is your life, my girl? You clearly didn't watch it, yet you're talking shit about it, saying these people don't know what they're talking about. Robert Fitzpatrick is an expert when it comes to multi-level marketing companies. You can say all day long that you are the world's best recruiter, best MLMer. Ugh, who the fuck would want that title? And I can say all day long, I have the best buns, or I had the cutest bulldog, or the hottest husband. I can say those things all day long. It doesn't make it true. Although, obviously, Tony, hello. It's insane that she says these things without actually knowing. And she's like, oh, well, they only made $2,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. No, there are people on that documentary and who now are out of MLMs, thank God, who made $20,000, $40,000, $80,000 in one bonus check for 1 month. That's a lot of money. So she's already discounting it when she doesn't get it. at all. And she probably won't watch it.
I just show people the actual reality. Like,
what is the actual reality?
For me,
give us an idea what that looks like for you. Yeah.
The truth is good enough. That's it. Like, I was literally the girl that grew up in small country town, Middletown, Maryland. I grew up in poverty. I was in a domestic violence household. I sent my dad to jail when I was 9 years old. I was raised by my grandparents. I went to college on a full academic ride because I am freaking sharp, right? I graduated college. I got the good job in the pathology lab. I was taking home like $24,000 a year after waiting tables in Times Square where I was making a lot of money, okay? Like, went from like, woo, oh God, right? Thrown into the realities of what people celebrate. Then was like, this cannot be. I'm living in a basement. Like, I'm literally doing the stupid thing where you pay bills to die, right? And I'm like caught in this hamster wheel of, you know, everyone's celebrating me. And I'm like, what are they celebrating? I have no life and I'm going broke every 2 weeks. And so I put it on a credit card. Like, I am the example.
Yeah.
And so when people try to say, it's just like anything, though. People say real estate's a scam sometimes because 90% of real estate agents won't ever sell a single house. Doesn't make it a scam. Just means that only 10% of people ever have the actual entrepreneurial
it's really hard to do it, right?
Yeah, and it's not as easy as you think, right? But it's the same thing with this. And so my reality was, yeah, I went from broke. I went from poverty. I went to a basement to being, you know, an over 8-figure earner in the network marketing space. And my first $1 million year, I was 26.
26 years old. So let's back up into your story a bit. You said something that caught my attention. You sent your dad to jail when you were 9 years old.
On or about January 3rd, 2020, defendants Jesse Lee Ward, aka Jesse Lee O'Sullivan, and Alexander, whatever the fuck his last name was, entered into the Texas Realtors residential lease. Hereinafter, the lease. The plaintiffs, the owners of the home of the lease property that she claimed to have purchased in full, a true and correct copy of the lease is attached. So if you're doing so well, then how come in section 11 and 12 of this plaintiff's original petition that I obtained from public records. This is all public. I'm allowed to show this. So it says, pursuant to the terms of the lease, defendants agreed to lease term running from March 2nd, 2020 through March 1st, 2022. So she had a lease for 2 years. Defendants further agreed to an annual rent amount of $117,000 and no cents for the period starting March 2nd, 2021 to March 1st, 2022, payable on January 31st, 2021. However, defendants failed to make the $117,000 rent payment due on January 31st, 2021. So she lived in it for a year and didn't pay it for the March 2021 through March 2022 period. Additionally, pursuant to lease, maintain property, upkeep of the property. And I, of course, like I said, actually, you know what? I'll put this in a Google Doc and y'all can just go through it if you want. But it's just ridiculous that this woman was evicted and didn't pay her rent. What's the only reason for not paying your rent? You can say all day long, oh, well, they didn't fix this or that or blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't you just get it fixed and you pay a rent and they fix it? But it's just hilarious that she's like, I've, spent this much and that much and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so did you just not have $117,000 to pay? The house was pretty.
Yeah. So the hustle for sure. But the leadership, even though it was really crappy leadership, started when I was 9. I didn't know how to lead. I don't think anybody's born they say there's born leaders. No, you have to have some kind of life circumstances, if you ask me. But we're actually really good. So for anyone listening, like my dad and I are really close. He might be listening to this, so I won't say something that's happening for his birthday coming up, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it. No, nothing bad. There's a surprise coming. I just kind of ruined. He doesn't know what the surprise is. So anyway, but anyway, we're really good. We all reconciled, etc. But this is before I actually knew about mental abuse and about emotional abuse. So the real crazy sort of plot twist in the story after I started personally developing is somewhere around 24, 25 years old is when I realized, yeah, I saw my dad throw my mom against walls, choking her, and the screaming and the whatever. But I didn't know all the stuff my mom was doing behind the scenes that was driving him crazy, like de-edifying him as a man, emasculating him constantly, the kinds of like things she was doing with people in the neighborhood, like
yikes. It's really strange that she would forgive her dad for abusing her mom, but then it doesn't sound like she's forgiving her mom for abusing her dad. I don't want to get like all into all that, but that's just, it's sad and unfortunate. Y'all know I'm all about, you know, vulnerability is contagious, but if something, you know, I say can maybe help you get through something or help you maybe feel less alone or anything like that, then sure, great, grand, I'm gonna talk about it if I feel comfortable. But when it's used in a way that's going to financially benefit someone, that's where it's bad. That's where it's not good, right? So that's really unfortunate. And if any of that is true, then that sucks. And I hope that I don't know, that she gets better with her family, I guess. I mean, we all have shit with our family. That's fine. I get it. But I feel like you can't really blame like what's happened to you in the past for you being a shitty person. I've been in very toxic relationships. I've been physically abused. Like I've been emotionally, mentally fucked with. Am I a shitty person? No. I mean, prior to rehab, maybe I wasn't the best, but like, I don't know, dude. It's weird. Oh my God, this continues for 24 more minutes. Fuck me. All right, let's get through this.
Behind the scenes that was driving him crazy, like de-edifying him as a man, emasculating him constantly, the kinds of like things she was doing with people in the neighborhood, like the most, right? He was actually an entrepreneur and she would be like, I'm the one making all the money right now. So like, it's my house, my rules, I do what I want. I didn't know. So when I saw it and I knew, oh God, physical violence, that's bad. And my dad had a track record. He was a felon already because he was distributing. My dad's a salesman. He was distributing the most LSD on the East Coast in like 1975 or something.
Wow, he was just ahead of his time by too long.
Yeah, so he already had a felon record, and so when I made the phone call, he got sent straight to prison. So. Anyway, so I kind of like had that weighing on me then, and I was always a daddy's girl. I still can do no wrong in my dad's eyes, and I had a great relationship with him. And my mom was just not really fit to parent, though. So I accidentally threw our family into this spiral of no leadership, no stable figure, no anything. And then I had to become that person. I had to be the one I wasn't even the oldest kid, but I was getting us to school, and I was making sure we went to after school activities, and I was making sure we had food. You know, my mom wouldn't come home till really late a lot of the time. And I'm so grateful for that. You know, I think part of development is understanding that everything that has happened to you in your life is happening for you. Yeah. Like, I would not be anywhere near as resilient as I am that's not even 5% of my story, right? Or like not even 1%, but all of that crazy stuff, if people would start seeing that those things are the blessings that turn you into the person that you're supposed to be, I think we'd have a better world.
Listen, when I was in treatment, we had like a game room. And so I went to a therapeutic wellness program. And then after that, you typically go to a step down program or a residential treatment center, something like that. Know all about that story. I will have it linked up there. You can click the little eye and it'll come out, or I'll probably forget that, but I'll have it in my description box down below. It's a live stream, obviously unedited. I get emotional. I cry like multiple times through it, but that's how I had to do it to get it up. And that's just what happened. So it was like a really random night when I decided to tell you all that, because a lot of people were asking and I was like, no, eventually I'll redo it, whatever. But in the like game, I guess it was like our game room or something, above like the window or something, there was a sign that said the strength is in the struggle. And I completely agree with that. I've been through a lot of shit in my life. I am the woman I am today because I went to treatment, because I've been through so much therapy. And I look at some people who have had similar, worse, or not even as bad trauma as I have, and I see them and I'm like, I cannot stand them as humans. Would I have ended up like that if I wouldn't have gone to treatment? So I mean, the narrative that they spew to try to lock you in, to try to hook you, that makes sense to you. It's these stories and these anecdotes and these one-liners that are shrouded in truth but rooted in lies. I really do be spitting bars. So once again, if you see everything as a blessing, you won't be able to see anything as a red flag. Sometimes fucked up shit just happens, okay? It makes us stronger. We get through it. But it's okay to recognize that a shitty time in your life is just a shitty time in your life. And sure, you came out better, taught you a lesson, but not everything is just us eating rainbows and shitting butterflies, okay? Sometimes shit just sucks.
All the things that happened to me in my life and all of the hardships and the fallbacks and all those different things. And I'm so grateful for it. It's almost like, as I get older and I start thinking about having my own kids one day, it's like, how do I make sure I can replicate these hardships? Like replicate the suffering and some of the things I had to go through, because it's like,
what a statement. How do I replicate the suffering? That is a great question.
No, well, Tony Robbins talks about this. He's interviewing this lady one time and she's talking about her husband and he just doesn't live up. And he asked her about her dad and he says, did you have a good dad? And she's like, oh, he was the best. He was the best dad ever. And he goes, that fucker. He goes, because he screwed you up. Because this guy you're dating now, your guy you're married to now, I mean, he can never live up to your dad. And it's like, in spite of like, you can raise somebody perfectly. The reason I use that example is like, you can raise somebody perfectly like this guy did, or you got the opposite end of the spectrum, right? And either way, it's going to screw a kid up in some ways. But It's like trying to navigate that, I guess just getting the life experience.
This man who was interviewing Jessie Lee just said that he's going to try to replicate the induced trauma, something, so that if he ever has kids, so that his kids will be able to have these life lessons. How about you just teach your kids these life lessons instead of them going through trauma? I've had a pretty crazy, pretty traumatic life, I would say, because of that, because of therapy, because of things that I have done. Like I've turned into a good person, right? Turned out all right. Because of that, I will know how to parent. And not saying that people, my parents did a bad job or anything. They didn't. They did as good as they could. And they did a pretty damn good job. My parents are great. And so is my older brother. Julian basically raised me and taught me a lot of shit. My husband didn't go through as much trauma, not to, compare traumas. But his wasn't as obvious. Like there's little things that happen here or there that really molded him into the person he is. And I guess really laid out how he would handle certain situations in his life. But how about instead of seeing your trauma as a blessing, teach your kid not to be a dick? And how about you just parent your child? These are the types of people that MLMs breed. And I need it to not happen. Thank you.
Above all else, we are the ones responsible for the state of our lives. And I think that's one of the things in the circles that we run in. Everybody kind of has those same mentalities. Like if you showed up with a victim attitude in those circles, you'd look like such an idiot. Like people would just like look at you like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, how did you sneak in and why are you here?
That was you on stage, right? In California. I think it was you. You were like, what I love about these masterminds is nobody's here like, man, I'm between jobs. I'm really struggling. Like everyone in here is like, F it, I'm a grind. Like, what do we need to do?
Like,
let's go.
Showing up to that, you're like, yeah, I'm just between jobs, just kind of hanging out. Like people are like, what the hell? Like, yeah, you get exposed very quickly if you weren't there to come from massive contribution and hard work.
Yeah. Yep. I love it.
So back to your journey. I mean, you start in MLM and you just start crushing it. So how did you scale it? How did you manage like the people? Because one of the things that I noticed with Zango, and I don't know if it's like this in every company, it sure as shit seems like it, but there's a lot of drama in multi-level marketing. Like what is wrong with you people? I swear everybody in those companies have the biggest egos. They're always fighting.
It's called narcissists. When you put narcissists in a group together and they have to recruit desperate, vulnerable people for money, that's what's going to happen.
Big swinging of the whole group and everything else.
Oh, God. You're just like, God has a sense of humor, I swear. Like, you are hitting on things that are so timely right now. So, couple things. It's volunteer Salesforce. When I bought my first traditional business, my favorite thing that I got to do was fire somebody. I hate to say that, but like I was so excited. Like this girl gave me really crappy attitude 2 days in a row. And I said, if you talk to me like that one more time, I'm your boss. You're not gonna have a job anymore. And she literally like all she did, I think she made like a whatever that noise is and like rolled her eyes. And I said, matter of fact, we're done here. You're actually fired. And I like had this surge of adrenaline, like, oh my God, I wanted to do that with hundreds of people. Oh my God, this is the best. Like, ah! Like, I mean, I didn't go psycho and like fire anybody else like that because it felt so good to like finally take control of that. But part of network marketing is like, you are dealing with everything. You are dealing with the highs, the lows. You're dealing with, quite frankly, very genuine mental instability. You're dealing with people who sometimes like could not make it in anything else, and for whatever reason, maybe they recruited a bomb, they hit the lottery, they're making $20,000 a month, like they think that they've done it. Again, you use the word ego. Oh my God, like holy moly, I don't know why sometimes it attracts these people, but Lord have mercy. And so for me to create a solution, you asked how I scale it, and then you asked about that. Scaling can only happen with systems in any business. So you're talking about Airbnbs. I know you're big in real estate. You do all this stuff. We're talking about your coaching program, etc. The only way you scale any of these things is if you have systems around it that allow for it to scale. Everything cannot be based and predicated upon you.
You have buzzwords on buzzwords, surrounded by buzzwords and buzzwords. Enter buzzword here and buzzword, and it's gonna buzzword. If I hear one more person say scale your business, I'm not a goddamn fish. And if I was, I'd be the rainbow fish. Wait, that story's depressing, isn't it? Either way, it's just so crazy that she's talking about, one, firing people. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, that's such like a maniac mentality or like a power trip mentality of like, oh, I loved firing someone.
So I'm known as a systems queen in the entire profession. And it's why my paycheck's what my paycheck is. So I say, okay, end goal here. It could be anything, right? Like, let's say your end goal is you want 20,000 doors. I don't really know, right? Or whatever. Maybe not. Yeah, you're like, hell yeah, okay. Like, whatever your goal is, you want this many companies, you want whatever.
I'm about to light myself on fire. Like, what? This is so strange. She says, my systems. I'm known for my systems. My systems. My systems. It's already been exposed multiple times that your systems are just access to a Google sheet, access to an Excel sheet, like people watching your YouTube videos, getting into a Zoom call. That's not a system. Oh my God. And a few people have brought up to me, and I love this point. I've said it a few times too. Why do y'all have so many trainings? What are you training on? Have you ever been to a job, y'all? Even if it's sales, let's say sales as well. Have you ever been to any sales position ever? Any company, doesn't matter. Keep in mind, before doing this full time, I was in sales for 10 years. Never had I ever been in a sales position where I had to go to a training multiple times a week. It was maybe once a month. And most of the time it was like continued education type of stuff, or learning a new product or product knowledge, or getting like better at something, or a different type of like sales technique. That's not what they do. You want to know what they do? Brainwashing. That's it.
What do you have to do? What systems you have to put into place in order for that to happen? And then it just becomes a series of testing, A/B testing, whatever, like that then allows it to drive towards whatever that end goal is. And so I even break that down. So end goal, maybe let's say it's like you want 20 million in revenue a month. Okay, well, do you like what sales programs do you need to put into place? Do you need to put together some kind of campaign? Okay, if it's a campaign, let's reverse engineer that, put a system around that. Okay, if it's getting more people properly onboarded in your system, where's the system for that? Do we need to do technology for it? What do we need to do? Do we need to do in-person events? Do we need to do small level masterminds? Do we need to do closed group settings? Do we need to have accountability partners? Like, my brain just works in this, like, here's the goal, chunk it out, figure that out so it can scale up to wherever you're trying to go. And that is not possible with a big ego. Now, I think the word ego has been torn apart over the last few years. Like, everybody says ego is so bad. Well, Jimmy, you have an ego. I know you have an ego. You think you're a badass. You are jumping off of things. You are bungee jumping. You are like skydiving, paragliding. I don't even know. I'm worried about your health sometimes, but like, it's very fun to watch on social media. So thank you for the entertainment. But you have swagger about you. I have swagger about me. Right? And that's what I think about when I think about ego. It's not about I have to be the best, I have to be the face of everything. No, it's this, don't mess with me because I know what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about ego. That healthy confidence is what I'm talking about. But like, so this is only one of the walls. You can't even really see it. You can only see like probably 15 photos or something. But there's 141 photos of people on my walls. They are the 141 top leaders that drive free vehicles in my organization. Because to me, they are representative of what has created our entire empire.
They're what pays you. That's what it is. they are inside of your wallet. They are your wallet. They are holding your money. If all of those people quit, or even half of them, she wouldn't be living the life that she's living right now. Absolutely not. No, she's not liquid. Apparently, she has 3 businesses that are doing so well. Why does she have to do this? That's what a lot of people don't realize about MLMs. They can't stop. They can't stop because the revenue that they have coming in is so different than the profit, which is crazy. I mean, yeah, sure, I spend a good amount of money right now on this and to make this happen, but I mean, yeah, I could spend no money on this, but that would mean a little bit less content. When you're in an MLM, you have to spend so much fucking money to keep up the facade because you can't just post your income and be like, I made this much money. You have to drive around in a Rolls Royce. You have to drive around in a fucking Range Rover, a Lamborghini, a whatever. You have to have all these purses, all this Louis Vuitton. You have to do this, that, and whatever. You have to go on all these trips. That's how you market. And that is insane to me. That's exhausting. I don't think I'm going to show me running payroll. What? No. What are y'all doing? What are you talking about? That's cringy. Stop. Cool. You got paid. You should be getting paid with how much you're working.
The reason I call it the empire is because it's not Jessie Lee's empire. It's all of theirs, right? It's my responsibility to say, I don't have the same gifts as Steve or Mel or Madison or Adele or Crystal or Jen or V. I can see all their faces, right? So I need them. And that is one of the biggest things that is missing in network marketing is people go, it's my team. I'm like, change your damn language. I have never used the word my because I don't own you.
Sure. Yes, you have.
And we are way better together. And if more people in any business...
Of course you're way better together. You wouldn't have any money without them. Because it's network marketing. You have to build a team. Like, it's so funny that she's like, oh, I've never said my team. If she says the phrase my team, if throughout the rest of this video, we have, holy shit, 16 minutes left. If she says the term, the phrase, the words, my team... within the next 16 minutes, we're all doing a shot. We're going to get drunk. I don't care if you're watching this at fucking noon. Drink up, bitches.
Instead of it being mine, me, I, you'll scale. But until you take that huge toxic ego out of whatever you're doing and you allow people to thrive in their skill sets, you'll never get there.
Yeah, no, I think you said that really well. It's, one of the hardest things in any industry is finding teams that want to work together and building something together. But one of the cool things about your industry is there is a financial benefit to helping other people grow and succeed. And so you have people that are just aligned. And I mean, I'm with EXP and it's actually a multi-level marketing.
You're a network marketer, Jimmy. Oh my God.
I know. And it's kind of fun because, I've had the opportunity now. So I joined back in February. And I recruited one of the top real estate teams in the country. It's right here in Utah, the Michael Perry team, the Perry Group. And there was about 40, 50 agents on that team at the time. And I would have never got to know these people. I would have never, I have no incentive. I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of realtors. They're not going to send me any deals. But once, they joined my real estate group, I started working with a lot of them. And some of my favorite people to be around, to talk to. I love mentoring them. And it's been really cool to be able to kind of feed off their energy too, as they're kind of building and wanting to get their businesses where they want it to be. And so it's been cool because I missed coaching and training. In my core, I'm a coach above everything else, but I hadn't really been doing a whole lot of training because at Keller Williams, I would do a training and then agents would take the stuff I used to try to help them. And they'd twist my words and try to use it against me in a listing presentation. I'm like, well, that's not what this is all about. And so I just quit doing it. I was like, I'm done training my competition. I had no benefit to it. It was just a waste of my time. And I was building these agents up to, compete against me. And so it is, having been now a part of this, I guess you could say MLM real estate company now for about 9 months. It's been really fun. And our group's been growing like crazy. I'm up to, I think, 125 people in my group now.
Good for you.
And I get to kind of help them and train them and coach them. And anyway, instead of all the money just flowing back to the broker, a lot of it flows out into the agents. And that's one of the cool parts about it.
It's funny how he just said he was hiring people to be his competition, because that's the same thing you're doing when you're in an MLM. Even if you're a level above them or whatever, you're still doing the same thing. So essentially you're hiring them to do the same thing as you. And also, can she stop saying edification, edify, edification, de-edification? She's clearly been listening to the Forex people, the I Am Academy people, they love that word. Oh my God, it is insane. Which they're not using it correctly anyways, which is weird.
Almost all business is actually network marketing as well. But to your point, you know, why would you spend your time coaching somebody all the time, giving all your advice to somebody all the time, that you're going to get no benefit whatsoever off of? Now,
almost all business is network marketing. How, Jessie? How? Explain it to me. How is almost all business network marketing? That was a trick question because it's not.
That is how I built my brand. So there's some of that. Like a lot of my brand building has been just free content now for 10 years. But now because of that, obviously I've had tremendous success in multiple business ventures. But I remember hearing something one time because a lot of uplines will actually sabotage their downlines. Again, back to the crazy ego. And I'm like, why would you do that? The more, if you're on my team, like I want you, if you would out recruit me.
She just said my team. We didn't even have to wait. 4 minutes maybe. Listen, I know I said I was taking a shot, but I have to film another video after this. And my tummy's already feeling kind of squirrely. I'll chug this. How about that? Also, it's hilarious that she just said that who would sabotage their downlines. I don't know, Jessie. Who would do that? Who would sabotage their own downline and then steal that person's downline? Little old you, little old Imbosslee. Who would do that? You've done that multiple times. Pushed people out, completely blocked them from everything on the team just because you didn't like something they said, basically. Stolen someone's complete downline and again, blocked them from everything. And if anyone in this person's downline is watching this video, which if you are, congratulations. You have not made it this far. I promise you've not made it this far. But challenge her on something. Speak your mind. Make a suggestion. It's not a democracy. It's called the empire for a reason.
What do you want me to buy you? Like, that's my mindset. I'm like, what do you want? Like, do you want to go on a trip, Jimmy? Like, you're outselling me? Like, where you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want bungee jump off today? Like, where are we going? Like, let's go. You like some shoes? You want a bag? What you want? Like, tell me what you want. I am all about, like, go. I want you to explode. But most people, unfortunately, do not have that. And something I always tell our team is I'm like, if I give you advice on something, I'm telling it to you, and I want you to do it because, quite frankly, yeah, I'm monetarily incentivized. Why would I lie to you? Right. Why would I give you bad advice on how to do Instagram Reels or TikToks or Facebook Reels or live video or podcasts or if it's not going to help you?
Well, no, and you understand that principle of like you give. And, you know, I mean, last night, for example, this event we did, we ended up spending quite a bit of money. I mean, there was 3 photographers and videographers and food and everything else alone. It was a free event for 300 people. Damn. It was just to expose them to these other people that are having a lot of success in business. And I got to speak at that. And it was cool because so many people are like, I can't believe this thing is free. But to your point, you know, you give value everywhere you can. And then you pick your moments where you can spend extra time with specific people.
Yes.
Where you guys get, you know, coercion and things like that. But, well, kind of a quick little pivot here. Like when we met, the group that we're a part of, where I first met you as a mastermind, and it's very, all these masterminds, they are heavily weighted towards men. I mean, there's just a lot more men than women. And most of the ones that I've been a part of, I don't know if it's that way at all, but it seems like it. I've been a part of enough of them now. What is the experience of being with, you know, in those rooms, and how do, I mean, obviously you go by Imbosslee. I mean, you're the boss woman, but, you know, talk to us a little bit about what you do with women and how you help women to build their careers and to get over the stigmas of maybe what, you know, entrepreneurship and business and is more of a male type thing.
Yeah. I love it. What a loaded question.
She doesn't help women in business. Yeah, there is a stigma. Why do you think it's called boss babe, girl boss, hun, hey girl? All those things is because the network marketing industry is targeted and geared towards women. Why? Unfortunately, because women are more vulnerable to these types of things, really. And most MLMs have products that are geared towards women. Why? Because that is the demographic they're trying to get. Because we are, unfortunately, more susceptible to wanting more, to wanting to provide for our families, wanting to just have more in general. And a lot of times we're a lot more stubborn than men. That's why there's people like me out here trying to teach you what's what. It's just, why would you want to be around a person like this who puts on this character and is constantly being fake? where like you don't really know the real them. Only a few people, and she's said this many times, it's why I'm okay with saying this. There's so many people who think that this is the real person and then sign up under her. And that's a goddamn lie. I hate it.
The answer is yes. Every group I'm part of, every table I sit at, every business thing I go to, every mastermind I'm part of, every seat level, anything I go to, it is dominated by men. And I will tell you, stop blaming the men for it, first of all, okay? Sit at the table if you want to sit at the table and you're a woman listening to this. I made a very direct decision that I was going to have my freaking seat and you weren't going to talk over me. And when I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you I know what I'm talking about. And if I have to school you so you know who you're talking to, we're going to go there too. Like, but sit down. So many women are like, oh, these are these misogynists. It's this patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm over it. Okay, like I'm literally over it. I don't have any energy towards the victim mentality, so let's start there. Second of all, though, let's talk about the actual experience, which is, yeah, I go there, and there has not been a single event yet, including the ones that I've met you at, where somebody doesn't ask who I'm there with. And I say,
oh, really?
What are you talking about? And they're like, well, like, is your husband here? And I'm like, the only diamonds that are on this hand is my freaking diamond Rolex I bought myself. Like, my husband, I am very single as a Pringle. Like, I'm trying to mingle. Not necessarily here, but like, what the hell?
Single as a Pringle and trying to mingle. That's actually kind of adorable. So I get that and I get what she's saying, but also I feel like that kind of plays off with like how you present yourself though as well. Again, this is kind of ties into like the caricature aspect of it. Like she's a goddamn caricature of a human, I feel like. What she said like kind of is endearing, but then again, it's like, well, why has that happened so many times to you? Like, who are you with? What are you doing? It's gross. Okay, we're almost done. And by almost done, we have 10 more minutes.
Right? So it's like, I still get that. Yeah. But you have to understand who you are and know your level of, like, your level of value. I know when I sit in those rooms, when I should talk and when I should not talk, right? I know when I'm at those events where I can contribute and where I cannot contribute. And I only contribute in places where where I feel like, hey, I got something to say about this. And more women just need to step up. Period. If you ask me, more women just need to step up, sit down, whatever you want to call it, and just get good at something. You don't have to be the best, but sit down. Sit at that table. There's plenty of times I'll sit at, like when we do the little round table things, like we'll sit at the little round tables and I'll be sitting there like, I'm not saying anything yet. I have nothing to say. Like I have nothing to say yet. But then when I do, the reason why somebody told you, oh, you gotta talk to her, you gotta talk to that girl knows what she's talking about, is because the only time I will talk is when I'm like, I'm gonna take this one.
That's debatable. Girl, then why are you on Zoom calls 3 times a day? Like, it has that, like, half-truth with it. It's shrouded in truth, but rooted in bullshit. And isn't that fertilizer? I'm about to quote Dwight Schrute. If you don't know what the fuck you're talking about or what the topic is, then don't fucking speak. You're gonna make yourself look like an idiot. But then, when the topic does come up, and you do have something valuable to add, then okay.
And then I show where I have superiority. And the crazy thing is a lot of people won't even bother going to these things and meeting these high level people, which you should, because they have this level of, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, they don't understand that most people don't know that much. So if you, before you go to one of these events, if you're super nervous, you're super scared, if you would go to one of these events and take the time before you go to listen to maybe a podcast of like, oh, I know Jimmy Rex is going to be there. Let me listen to something of his. Oh, I know Joel Marion's going to be there. Let me listen to something of his. Oh, I know Dan Fleischman's going to be there. Let me listen to something of his. Oh, I know Ed Milet's going to be there. Let me listen to something of his. If you become a 1% expert on anything, you can sit at those tables and be like, I got something to say. Right? But more women, I wish more women would step up. But in the meantime, I love it because it actually gets me more opportunities, such as this one.
Well, you said that, you know, you said something really important. It's like we have this imposter syndrome. And in fact, in one of those masterminds, I learned a really cool way to overcome that. Jen Gottlieb, who was part of the group, and she was at that. She said, you know, we all get imposter syndrome. She said, Jimmy, this is the best thing I've ever learned to get over it. What you want to do, she said, write down a list on your phone, like just have like a tab in your notes of all the things you've done, like all of them, like list them. And she's like, write all your accomplishments you've ever achieved. So I did this, right? And she goes, okay, now I want you to read it as if you're reading that about somebody else. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm like reading it. I'm like, this guy's a badass. I want to be friends with this guy. It was so cool. Cause like we all feel like we don't belong, or like, and I don't know, you know, if it's different for women. I know when I was younger, I was like the youngest real estate agent at all these conventions for years and years. And I would go do things like, I remember one time I bought some front row tickets to a Jazz game, basketball game. And the guy sitting next to me, I'm just trying to get to know this guy. Clearly he's successful. He's on the front row with me, you know? And he's like, what do you do? And I was like, I'm a real estate agent. And as soon as I said that, I was like probably 25 and I was crushing, but he looks at me and goes, oh, are these your dad's seats? And I'm like, no, I bought these. And from that day forward, anytime I was like, oh, I get that there's like a stigma around real estate agent that's 25, right? Like this guy. And I just remember like not being offended, but so much being like, it was just eye opening. Like, oh, that's how he sees me. And so I had to change. Like so after that, anytime people would ask me, I'd say, oh, I do real estate. Because it leave it super vague. Because then they're like, well, what does this guy do? Is he a developer? Is he an agent? You know what I mean? And
it's interesting you say that, actually. So I still experience that constantly. I had a suite at the Rangers game, and somebody walked in like, whose suite is it? I'm like, mine. What the hell? This is like very recent, right? But something actually I learned at a mastermind I want to share with you, because it's so crazy you say that about like, oh, I'm in real estate, and just kind of leaving it at that, is if I would have met, I mean, I might have even said this to you the first time I met you. When people used to ask, as recently as maybe 4 months ago, what is it you do? My answer would be, I do a lot. Like, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm #1 in network marketing. I own car dealerships. I own spas. I own hair salons. I'm in trading. I have a huge stock portfolio. I do real estate. Like, I would literally go down this, like, you know what I mean? And he said to me, this is somebody in our mastermind, he goes, what is that? I said, what are you talking about? He's like, why do you say it like that? I'm like, I don't understand what you're asking. And he's like, you're #1 in the world at something. You're best in the world out of 8 billion people at something. Like, no, just stop there. And I went, what? He goes, if they want to know about the cars and the shoes and the jewelry and the da-da-da-da-da, they'll ask. He's like, but you, like, it is a full stop when you say, I'm #1 in the world in network marketing.
Who gauges that? Who told you that? Did you win an award for that? Did you buy that trophy? I mean, I could literally just sit here and be like, I am #1 at sucking dick. And I would just hold up a little trophy. #1. Are you really #1 at network marketing? You've gotten fired from 2 of them. You've gotten sued by multiple MLMs. So no, you're not #1 at network marketing.
Why doesn't she just stop it? I'm the #1 network marketer in the world.
Nobody told me until the damn mastermind. And now it's like amazing. I tried it like the day after he told me that. And I'm like, oh my God, you should have seen their response. They immediately like lost their shit. And he's like, yeah, because everybody's like, who the hell am I talking to? Like, damn. So to your point of, you know, I'm in real estate. If they want to know more, they're going to be like, what do you mean? Like,
no, it's funny. And I've been in so many circles of, you know, business people and things. And when they hear like you're a real estate agent, because everyone knows 20 dipshit real estate agents. And so when you hear that,
at least
there's like, you know, and so I just kind of like let it kind of develop into what it is. I actually had a dude from one of the masterminds that we went to. He sent me a message the other day on Instagram. It was a really cool message, actually. He's like, dude, I've been following you since we met. He's like, I got to be honest, man, when we met, I just thought you were just some random realtor. And he's like, you actually have one of the coolest lives I've, and he wrote me the nicest message I've ever read. And it was like all about, like, he's like, I feel like I've been stuck for years and I watch you and that's where I want to be. And like, it was really like this really cool message. And I wrote him back, like, wow, man, that means a lot. He's like, no, I wasn't going to send it because I felt so dumb. But I honestly, dude, I just thought you were this idiot realtor. And I was like, that's cool. Like, thank goodness for Instagram. I guess we can actually see who each other are, you know?
Exactly. No, Instagram's like changed the game. I'm going to make a reel, maybe like right after this, where it's like so many people want to build a brand and they want to build a business and they want to be #1 in whatever, or maybe not #1, but they want to be super proficient in whatever it is they're doing. And they don't want to put their face on social media. And I'm like, you cannot have this without showing this.
Yeah,
right? You have to show people who you are. And like, I mean, obviously we got on here before we even started recording. I'm talking about, oh, your 40th birthday and I'm best friend 31, you know, because you had your best 30 there. I just put myself at 31, whatever, right? Like all of those things, though, that I know about you, outside of the fact that we've met, obviously, a handful of times, sure. I know them because I can follow up with your life through your Instagram. Like I know what's going on in your world.
Yeah, well, and you know, the business is done with people that we know, like, and trust. And I think trust is the most important. And it's a really cool tool, really cool way for people to get to know people and decide if they want to trust them or not. And you can kind of see people that you do want to be around and people that you don't. And I think that's, you know, like, look, when you got into network marketing, you literally had to go to Google and start looking that way. Like, what a crazy way to try to find your network marketing group. You know what I mean? And nowadays you'd be able to follow enough people and see who you want to align yourself with, which is really cool. But speaking of which,
you had to find it through Google. Now look at you. You were fired from that company, and then you were fired from the next company, and now you're in this one. I don't think she will be fired from this one because I personally think, I'm not saying this is a fact, this is just a rumor that I've heard. I think that she's boinking the CEO of the company. Something Underwood, whatever his name is. Girl, get it how you live it, do what you do. As long as they're both single, they are consenting adults, who cares? Lock it in, I guess. I will see y'all in my next video. I know we broke this one down. I know I kept stopping all the time. I know this is a long video. I'm not sorry about it. This is what happens. She goes on forever and ever and ever, and I just have to debunk everything because she's lying about half the shit she talks about or just misleading people to try to have this type of facade. It's weird. I don't like it. Just don't be like that. Don't mislead people to make money off of them. So I will see you all in my next video. I love you so much, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. You're amazing, you are worthy, you are valid, and you are valuable. And I'm not gonna lie, you're looking like a goddamn snack. Okay, bye.